southwestern United States is the El Malpais National Monument, known for the dramatic volcanic field covered with a barren moonscape of treacherous, sharp-edged rubble, tangled lava flows, cinder cones, pressure ridges, caves, caverns, and other volcanic features and formations that cover much of the park's total area, all surrounded by sandstone bluffs and mesas. The name Malpais itself means Badlands in Spanish, and it is popular with hikers and cavers. It is also known for being one of the 8 candidate sites considered by the Manhattan Project to test and detonate the first atomic bomb, as well as for its important archaeological sites surrounding the various peoples who have inhabited the area for thousands of years, to whom it was a sacred place full of spirits and magic. A lesser-known and more sinister aspect of the park is that it has also had its share of strangeness surrounding it and may possibly be hungry, in a sense, drawing people in to vanish off the face of the earth. In June of 2002, James Chapman, 46, and his daughter Crystal Tuggle, 20, came to El Malpais for a day hike among the rugged lava beds. A National Park Service archaeological team saw them late in the afternoon of June 20th, going off along a simple half-mile walk that would take them from the parking area to an attraction called Big Tubes, which is composed of around 17 miles of tunnels and troughs created by the lava. It was thought to be pretty odd that they were going out there into the perilous, unstable terrain without hiking boots or gear, but the trail was well worn and the destination close, so nothing much was thought of it at the time. Little did they know that this would be the last time anyone would see Chapman and Tuggle alive. When the pair didn't return as scheduled and could not be located, a search was launched, but there could be found no sign of them. The search expanded to include over 250 people, aircraft, and teams of sniffer dogs, but still, they found nothing. For years, it was a total mystery as to what had become of them, and it would not be until 2010 that some scattered, desiccated remains would be found out in the desolate wilderness, along with some tattered clothes and weathered credit cards. These remains would eventually be identified as belonging to the missing Chapman and Tuggle, but they also posed strange new questions. One was that the remains were found by a Natural Resources Survey crew in a steep, remote area around 5 miles off the path that they had been headed, and no one is quite sure how they ended up there. They had not been equipped for such a long hike, and had told everyone they were headed straight to the Big Tubes and back, so how had they ended up in that place, especially since it was up a steep incline at a higher altitude, in a place that would have been hard to handle without proper gear? Since lost people tend to head downhill, why had they made that arduous trek to end up where they were found? Also mysterious is that the cause of death could not be determined, meaning it is uncertain if this was an accident, foul play, the doing of wild animals, or if they had just simply become hopelessly disoriented somehow. Monument spokeswoman Leslie DeLong would say of it, "It's not what I would consider a typical hiking environment. It's a place where you're in very rugged terrain, where it's easy to become disoriented. We don't know exactly how they got to where they were. There's still a lot that is being investigated at this point." With little evidence left, the family may never know what happened to the pair, but at least there was closure of some form in this case. Others who have gone missing in the park have not had even that, rather just seeming to evaporate off the face of the earth. Indeed, in the years since, there have been at least 5 other people who have vanished without a trace at El Malpais. A Kevin Kaufman went there for a solo hike in 2006 and disappeared off the face of the earth, followed by James S. Miller, Christopher L. Moss, Michael R. Smith, and John F. Smith, who all went missing while on solo hikes in 2008, 2011, 2012, and 2012 respectively, none of their remains ever found. While this might be merely due to the treacherous terrain and getting lost, it is odd that they should never be found in any sense or be found in strange places, and if some stories coming out of El Malpais are to be believed, there may be sinister paranormal forces at work. Many hikers who have gone out into the Badlands here have come back with strange stories to tell. All manner of unexplained phenomena have been reported, including electrical equipment malfunctioning, compasses going haywire, feelings of being watched, and unexplained bouts of dizziness, disorientation, or nausea. Stranger stories tell of seeing mysterious orbs of light in the wilderness, or of hearing disembodied voices or music. Hikers have reported feeling disoriented or confused for no known reason, walking around in circles and getting lost even in close vicinity to a trail, or have told of lost time. There have been some hikers who have gone missing, only to be found later with tales of experiencing these phenomena, sometimes with no sense of how much time had passed. Some of the stories of these almost vanished are fairly eerie and creepy, suggesting something more at work than simple disorientation and the landscape. One such account comes from a Reddit user called Fluffy_war_bunny, who gave their account on the Missing 411 forum and claims that they were exploring a cave system in the park called Big Skylight with some friends when they almost went missing. The witness says, "I almost went missing in a cave because my friends and I separated in the bottom of this enormous miles-long cave system, Big Skylight. Then I heard music and had this overwhelming urge to follow it. I ended up crawling like a maniac worm down a tiny one's opening, and I am not small. I went about 50 toises following this music before I snapped out of it. It was really, really eerie. It was the best music ever. I think it was flutes or pipes. I followed that sound like a madman, and it was like I couldn't control myself. I literally slithered 50 feet down a tunnel that had less room than a coffin. No light, because there was no room to even use one. It was so tight I couldn't use my arms or raise them above my head. It was so tight I couldn't use my arms, and I had to slowly pull myself back out using my heels a few inches at a time. I think what snapped me out of the trance was a couple of things. One was that my chest was becoming too compressed to breathe easily. The second was that I had also come to a bend in the tight tunnel where it made a 90-degree turn upwards, and I wasn't able to logically figure out how to bend my body and then climb upwards in such a tight tunnel. At the top, I could see a room with light in it, and I could hear the music faintly coming from there. If I had got stuck, I don't think my friends could have heard me screaming. When I came back out, it probably took 10-15 minutes to move backward that 50. My friends had come back, and they had been looking for me and were really confused where I had gone, because when I came out that tiny tunnel, I essentially appeared out of nowhere. I didn't tell them what had happened because I didn't want to scare them, and we were still hours away from getting back to our campsite. I told them I had been exploring a side tunnel and left it at that. I or friends have had other very creepy things happen here at the El Malpais Monument. It's also a naturally very dangerous area. Lots of magnetism, so batteries, electronics, and compasses are not reliable. Airplanes aren't allowed to fly over El Malpais. There are no trails because the ground is very hard, basalt lava flows. The rocks ruin shoes very fast, and you can't bring dogs. You follow cairns to get around. The cairns are made of black rocks and are more than 100 feet apart, and you cannot rely on them for night navigation. I have only been comfortable going there at night because I can navigate by the constellations. It's actually the only way to get around at night there. What is going on here? And does it give us any sort of clue into what is behind all of the vanishings in this specific area? Are all of these mysterious disappearances attributable to merely getting lost or the remote, rugged terrain? Or is there perhaps something more mysterious going on here? If there is some strange force at work, then what could it be, and why should it congregate here? Does it perhaps have anything to do with other similar bizarre disappearances reported from across the country?
I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to support this kind of content. See you on the next travel.